Hi guys, Wayne's Butler here. Well, now that the unboxing video is aired out a couple days, I think it's time that we do a little bit more of an in-depth opinion on this figure. Now I suppose I could stop right here and just let you look at this, spin the thing around, call it a video, but this figure basically speaks for itself. Now I don't normally say this, well sometimes I do. I mean, Hottoys have brought out some really good figures. I mean, the Hottoys Batman is, you know, is fabulous, but it's not without its flaws, for sure. But man, I can't find anything wrong with this figure. I really can't. I mean, I know the weathering and the chipping and stuff like that really makes a big difference. But I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys, and say that this is a perfect figure. Now, that's me saying it. Now everybody, I realize that everybody's going to see different things, and sometimes quality control isn't the same for every single figure. But all the things that I was worried about, this figure doesn't have. The body's tight. Those chest plates, I was thinking about that too. I'm thinking, because Hottoys sometimes has a habit of putting things off center, but all those plates are on dead center the way they should be. But there is a few things that I did run into this, guys, when I was setting it up, that for you people who are getting this figure, I think are going to want to know. Plus, I watched Return of the Jedi the other night, and I even learned a few things myself about what's going on here, and especially these guns. But first we'll start with the most important thing, I suppose, this pose. Now, I raved about these guns like they're the second coming, and they are. They're absolutely fabulous. And I wanted to pose it with this gun. Now, just a little bit of a sidebar. After watching Return of the Jedi, now I know what this gun's about. This is the gun that he used when he was on this skiff here, when Luke cut the end off. So that makes sense. Learned that. But the problem I had with this, guys, and the reason why I chose the museum pose, now my museum pose here is usually my go-to pose. Can usually never go wrong with it. Depends on the character, obviously, but my problem with this, now, like I said, for you guys getting this figure, you might run into something different. And like I said a minute ago, everybody's going to see different things. So, but for me, I mounted this. I had the, you know, the gun hand. I had the gun underneath the arm here at first, and it just didn't look natural to me. It just didn't fit underneath the arm here naturally. So I think, it didn't look right. So the other epic pose that, you know, Bobafett is known for is that, you know, the hand over hand thing here. So I put these hands on, I tried that pose. So I had, you know, both hands like that, but because of the bulk of the gauntlets and the belt, you know, the hand over hand pose, just especially from the side, didn't look natural because it was too far away from the body. No, I don't think that's Hottoys' fault, obviously. It's, you know, it's just part of the character here. I mean, you got bulky gauntlets, and you got you know, the ammo belt here that's bulky, and you're trying to recreate this in quarter scale. So that didn't really bother me because I always knew I had, you know, my go-to pose here at the end. So I was a little disappointed because, like I said, I wanted to pose it with the gun. And yes, there's probably a couple poses that I could have used the gun with, absolutely. But I'm very particular about what I'm going to need to be looking at, and you know, I may pose it, I may try a different pose with this in the future, but I just didn't like it. So guys, I know this might be a boring pose for some, I realize that, but this is a pose that I chose, and the pose that is probably going to be staying in. So, like I said, and you don't really get a whole lot, as we know. We got the gun, and we got the cutoff gun, and we got the hands. Now, so you don't really have a whole lot of options. You can either pose it any way you want without the gun, or you can pose it any way you want with the gun. That's basically the only accessory you got. Now, some might complain about that. Not me necessarily, because like I say, I'm a monogamous poser. I just pick one thing and stick with it. But I think the reason why we kind of got shortchanged accessory-wise is because of this stand. Now, I have referred to the stand as, or they refer to the stand as the barge. The sail barge. Now, in the movie, obviously, this isn't really the sail barge. This is, I mean, obviously because they're speaking in nautical terms, I guess we're going to call this the skiff, you know, the two skiffs up followed the barge out to the Dune Sea. So that's what this is. I guess I'm going to call it the skiff. And it's fabulous. And the quality on this thing is so good. The weight and everything, like I talked about in the unboxing, that that's probably where all our money went, or probably what you're paying for. And for me, I'm happy with it. Am I happy with the money that am I happy with my purchase here? Am I happy with the amount of money that I paid for this? Was quite high, as you know. Yes. Now I am. I was a little bit concerned, obviously, by the amount I paid, especially the amount of money that I've been spending lately. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with my purchase, and I think everybody out there who gets this figure is going to be happy with it too. And so let's kind of go through this from top to bottom. We talked about the guns, the posing part of it. Few poses though. Like I said, you guys are going to find lots of cool poses, and if I see somebody with a pose that I like, I'm going to copy you, if you don't mind. But for the time being, museum pose, you can't go wrong, badass. That's all I can say. So we covered the skiff. Now the other two things about the base are these two plates. Now obviously you can either put this at the front or you can put this at the back. You can also even, the crotch grabber here, you can even turn that around. So I think there's 4 choices. I guess really only 2, but if you're inventive you could probably pick 4. Now the other thing too, as far as this crotch grabber, like we touched on, or I touched on in the unboxing, I don't like them. As you can see here, it ruins the sight line. When I look at that figure, I can see that stick up the center of his ass. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's up its ass. Now this will stand by itself, thankfully. But obviously for this review here, I'm going to be spinning it around the table, so I didn't want to take any chances. So, but that's going, guarantee you. Now, one positive thing I'll say as it relates to this particular figure is this crotch grabber. We're dealing with fabric here. I mean, we all know what happens, you know, with the Batman in particular, and even some of the 1/6 scale. When you have a rubber figure and you have that crotch grabber in there, it always leaves marks. So you have less likely of that happening with this figure. So you guys out there who want to use the crotch grabber, you're not likely going to really ruin the suit like you would if it was rubber. So that's the base. So we get to start at the top here. Now, yes, this targeting antenna here does articulate down. Be very, very careful. It's very fragile. The helmet, like I touched on in the unboxing, is perfect. I mean, the weathering on it is absolutely stunning. And we get down to the chest armor here. Like I said earlier again, put on perfectly straight. Now, the one thing I did know about when I watched Return of the Jedi, this piece here, I did comment in my last video about that being a light up feature, and kind of glad it wasn't. I don't see anywhere in the movie where that's lit up. Not in that movie. And it actually looks exactly like that. It looks exactly like that. So, I mean, Hottoys just knocked this out of the park. I mean, it just, for you guys out there who love Bobafett, this is like the definitive collecting piece, the definitive piece. Now, I am a fan of statues, and I do collect them, and I am going to be buying them. I did buy that 1/3 Arkham Knight statue. And so I love statues, but in my opinion, this particular figure here is probably better than a premium format because everything is mixed media. You know, there's no polystone on here, and you can always get sharper detail with resin, which is probably why they use resin for some of their head sculpts, because you just can't get sharp detail with polystone. So, I mean, you're always going to get a little bit more crispness with resin pieces. And proof is right here, you know what I mean? You got the fantastic weathering here on the flamethrower, and the gauntlets are perfectly done. You know, they're not loose or floppy. The hands actually come on and off really easy, very similar to the Hottoys Batman. Now, I'm going to be referring to the Batman obviously throughout this video a little bit, because that's, you know, really the only figure I have to reference. And like I said, I think we know that this body's probably the same body. But the hands go on just as easy. They're a very soft, pliable vinyl. And so we get down to the ammo belt, and this is time we'll spin this around a little bit, see the back. I mean, the tubing up that goes up underneath the arm here, movie accurate. You know, these are these small bits that I was talking about here that you have to be really careful of. And we get around to the back here. Again, just to jump back up here, I mean, the back of the helmet, I mean, it's movie accurate. I paused Bobafett's not in the movie for very long, but I paused a whole bunch of different scenes just to see how accurate this figure is, and it's like bang on, you know, bang on. And this backpack, or jetpack, every time I look at it, the first thing that goes through my mind is 3A, because that's what it looks like. It looks like something that 3A would have weathered, because it's really heavily chipped and stained. I mean, it's just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And over here, this is the exclusive. Now that I got it and it's on the figure, I'm actually glad, because I originally said on my unboxing I didn't really care about the exclusive. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad it was sent to me. Basically his daddy's gun, or his daddy's laser blaster, and it looks really good on the figure. And there's even a crest there. I don't know what it stands for. You Star Wars expert can tell me what that is. I don't know if it's a Mandalorian crest, but I mean, because it's quarter scale, we get that, eh? And the blaster's done. Now, that clip right here, it's a good design. You won't have any trouble getting it out, but it clips, you pull it out and you kind of push it back in, but you gotta get a, I don't know if I brought them out here, but you gotta get a pair, you gotta get a pair of tweezers. You gotta get a pair of tweezers, and you gotta get up underneath there when you're pushing the brass little, or the gold piece back into the holster to hold it, to hold the back of it. So that's that. You just undo it here. Very simple. Very self-explanatory. When you get the figure, you just undo it and you slide it on and hook it back up. And the cape, well, it's wired, as we know. A little bit of weathering on the ends, some burn marks on it. Fabulously done. Absolutely fabulous. Again, we'll just look at these blast marks here on this skiff, as we're now calling it. Perfectly done. Now, that's a good angle if you want to, pose it like that. But my OCD likes this right here, and my OCD likes this pose. I'm very, very happy with this figure. Like I said, I was a little torn when I first bought it, because I waited so long to get this that near the end of the wait, you kind of get, it's like, I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm just sick and tired of it. But I'm so glad I got it. So glad I got it. And we got this tunic here, or this fabric belt, again, all movie accurate, ammo belt. The bags here at the side are accurate. There is a little bit of weathering in the suit here. As you can see in the light here, there's a bit of black, just a little bit, just nice, just nicely done, not too over the top. You could add more, I suppose, but you get down to the knee pads, and I guess these are the darts here, I'm not too sure. You Star Wars experts can correct me. And the other thing for you guys getting this figure that I want to touch on, that you're going to want to know, at least in my experience, the accessories go in well, except these two, the wide ones. This accessory here is too wide. Now I'm telling you right now, guys, do not, and I mean repeat, do not force these accessories in these pockets. You will pop the thread. But I realized this was too wide, so it's just a thin piece of plastic. I shaved some off the side. I shaved about a 1/16 of an inch off the side, so that would go in. And unfortunately, I had to do the same with this one. It was just too wide. It was really putting a lot of stress on the stitching. It's no big deal. You just take a bit of sandpaper and just sand. You'll see how much you need to do. Or you could just leave it, I suppose. But like I said, do not force these into the pocket, because the thread is very, very tiny. But I don't know how they mass produce something like this. I mean, the stitching job on it and the design. I mean, how do you? I don't know. It's a miracle. Figures like this are miracles, metaphorically speaking, I suppose. And you got the Wookiee braids. Again, braided perfectly. Now, the only thing, again, for you Star Wars experts out there, do the Wookiees have different color fur? Because obviously the braids are different color. And on a little bit of ways, they're kind of creepy, because the Wookiees are the good people, or the good guys, you know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. It's just a movie, and a damn good one. What else can we touch on here? I'm going to give you a close-up pan on the front, and then I'm going to turn it around and kind of give you a close-up pan of the back. So we'll start here at the top. Just kind of review what we talked about here. So we got the helmet. Now, the one good thing, I suppose, I know a lot of us get hung up on head sculpt, so I know obviously this one doesn't come with a head sculpt. I don't think Jeremy Bulloch's head's really relevant. The guy inside the suit is, I realize that, but I mean, we're not dealing with likeness, so obviously we don't have to have those damn arm wrestles where everybody talks about, oh, it's good, no, it's not, this is wrong or that's wrong. I mean, you can't complain about the head of this thing. That's perfect. The arm I touched on, as you can see, everything's straight, centered, weathered perfectly. I know, the pose that I really wanted was at the hand over hand at the front, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I already talked about why, in my opinion, it didn't look natural. If it doesn't look natural, we always go to the, my go-to pose. Boots are done perfect. I mean, I'm gushing, guys, because I don't know. I like to shit on a figure a little bit. I like to be critical, but I can't. This figure is, for all intents and purposes, is perfect. Like I said, a little short on accessories, but that is what it is. So we'll go back up here and we'll just give it a turn around, and we'll call it a video. I like to keep this short. I know my last video, guys, was a little long. It didn't get full view, but well, it ended up being kind of an unboxing review. And we'll go to the top here. So we got the jet pack here, done perfectly, weathered perfectly. Oh, and there's one other thing I need to do here. I think Royce 12, a new subscriber of mine, knows what I need to do. The skiff. I wasn't going to use it, originally. I had something planned, as far as diorama goes. I had a whole thing idea that I was going to do, but I didn't realize how nice this stand was. So, well, I'm going to have to implement it somehow. Actually, I wanted to watch Return of the Jedi 2 to get some inspiration when I can. Because I'm feeling inspired now that I got this figure all assembled. I'm just loving it. I am a Batman guy, and that will never change. But, okay, let me zoom out for the next thing I need to do. He wanted to know how tall it is, and probably some other guys out there want to know how tall it is too. I know it's a popular question when we're dealing with quarter scale figures. Man, it's badass. We'll just do it's not motorized, we'll just do one of these little. God, I'm really loving Django's blaster there. I'm so glad I got that. But I really like to know what that crest is. I know my eyes are really bad. Probably could get a magnifying glass and figure it out, but you guys know what it means. I don't know if it's Mandalorian or... I'm not sure. You guys know I like black. Can you imagine how this turned out? How well the Darth Vader will probably turn out. I know they don't even have license approval yet, so we'll wait at least a year before we even see that anyways. But I love black. Black's my favorite color, so... I mean, if this turned out as perfect as, can you just imagine? I mean, a fully articulated Darth Vader quarter scale with full-on mixed media. You know what I mean? You're not going to get any realer. Same as this. There's no, in my opinion, there's no realer. I know it's not proper English. There's no realer a figure of this character on the market, in my opinion. Now, yes, there'll be some people who disagree, but in my video, I guess I'm the only guy sitting here, so I have nobody to argue with. Anyways, Royce 12 wanted to know the height from the bottom of the base to the top of that antenna, and it's exactly 22 inches. 22 inches from the bottom of that base to the tip of here. Exactly. I do have the head tipped down a little bit, you know what I mean, but that's exact numbers. Height of the figure to the top of the antenna, 18.5 inches, bang on. So there you go, 18.5 to the foot to the here. 22 from the base to the tip answers your question. Thank you too, buddy, for subbing. Appreciate it. I actually did get a few subs over my last video, so for all you new subs out there, thank you. I appreciate it. And all my current subs, thank you for that too. I appreciate it. Love each and every one of you. Okay, I think that's about it, guys. You guys have any questions? I think I covered everything. We got the height, we got the figure, we got the base. We'll just give it a second here to kind of soak this in. I mean, a lot of you probably aren't watching this video. I think a lot of you have already shipped out already, so yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Anyways, Wayne's Butler signing off. Peace and love to all.